I'm a man who believed that I died 20 years ago, and I live like a man who is dead already. I have no fear whatsoever of anybody or anything.
Webb. I am an investigative journalist, and in 1996 I wrote a series of stories entitled Dark Alliance, which was about CIA involvement in drug trafficking.
I knew a man who once said death smiles at us all. All a man can do is smile back.
We've both been skull and bone, the secret society.
It's so secret we can't talk about it.
What does that mean for America? The conspiracy theorists are going to go on.
I'm sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the rest.
Number 322.
I sad duty to report this afternoon that my friend and colleague, Tim Russert, collapsed and died early this afternoon.
I may die in this cell tonight or in the arena tomorrow. I am a slave. What possible difference can I make?
And no official of my administration, whether his rank is high or low, civilian or military, should interpret my words here tonight as an excuse to censor the news, to stifle dissent, to cover up our mistakes, or to withhold from the press and the public the facts they deserve to know.
Is it just, am I the only one who had a weird mute there?
No.
Okay. Oh, you had it too?
Yep.
That was bizarre. Okay, I don't know if the audience saw that, but on our end, that was weird. There was an odd delay of audio from the intro there. But all right, whatever, guys. Welcome to Already Dead. This is Jose Galison. I'm joined as always by Austin Picard, and we got Jules over here. Young Jules. What's up, guys? Fucking, man, wild day, man. We had a morning dump today, and like, we still got shit to cover. We still fucking dense news day. Dense.
Yeah. I forgot to privately mention, by the way, another thing we should cover. We should definitely discuss this ruling by this judge that was apparently an Obama appointee that it's effectively their what they ruled was essentially that the dismantling of USAID was unconstitutional, right? And so that alone I found very interesting, especially since this morning we had sort of discussed that ruling in California, I believe, in regard to federal employees being essentially they were suing the government for basically their firing, right? Essentially for what Doge had done. They were claiming unconstitutionality as far as the reason that they were obviously pursuing this litigation, but still you're having all of these federal employees being essentially kind of, given their jobs back, basically. Yeah. Which is
as we said in a recent, I don't know if it was on the Morning Dumps recently, was like, yeah, there's no political solution. Here you go. Like, I don't know what clear sign you can get. There is no political solution. I mean, there's also another. I don't know if you saw too on the USAID crumbling note, or I guess maybe coming back. I guess there's rumors. I guess Jeremy Boring from the Daily Wire is stepping down. And there's rumors that they're looking at bankruptcy. I don't know. I haven't looked into it enough. But I think where I heard that was something from I want to say Ian Carroll, which obviously I know we've talked about on the show, and a lot of people are just suspicious. Who knows? Maybe it could be some bullshit. But I don't know. It'd be a weird thing for them to throw out if there isn't some truth to it.
That's weird timing.
Well, that's what I was getting at with the USAID. It's been a month since it got shut down.
Right. That is so funny. But you would think that it's kind of a doomed to fail in the first place. I don't know how popular their ideas truly are, honestly. Like, it seems very astroturf to begin with.
Yeah.
Potentially propped up by some sort of Zionist Israeli interests, and they're just straight out embracing the Zionism term these days. They don't even care. You know what I mean? They don't even bat an eye. They're proud to be Zionist, and essentially, I mean, you can say Christian Zionist, but in reality, it's just like this new formed American, really just a justification for kind of what is it? Israel first. I mean, a policy of Israel first. That's where we're at, and that's
which
why.
if you want a clear view of that, watch our morning show. We went into all the crazy foreign policy shit that was popping off yesterday, and and how all of it really. It's funny. I've seen Dave DeCamp put out a series of tweets recently, like if you guys just stopped funding Israel, this would stop happening. Exactly. And it's like damn near like probably 75% of the problems in the Middle East. It's like all you gotta do is stop funding Israel. And then they go away. Like I mean, that sounds silly, but it's kind of true. Like it's pretty much like stop funding them, and I mean they'll be forced to get along with their neighbors or suffer the consequences.
Did you see exactly? But did you see? Obviously the green light was given by Trump today. Effectively the past 48 hours.
Carry on, leave it. Fucking said like as I believe it was like either as it was happening or shortly after, where she had that line. She goes, she reminded at that moment. She picked that time to remind the world. You reiterate. Trump did say earlier something along the lines of like, God, I actually saw the tweet earlier. I wish I bookmarked it. Her specific quote, but I think she said if to terrorists who do anything to Israel and even to America, she worded it in a weird way. Then she did you bookmark it? Cool. Find that exact quote because it is like it's pretty shameful that like that's your response. As we talked about this morning, how it does seem to be almost seem to be usually pretty tactful about that. Anytime Israel pops off and does some crazy war crime shit, usually you don't hear that like right then like usually that comes before it because like we've had all these different me and you've been following the ins and outs of all this Hamas is the IDF shit, and it's like every fucking time it's like usually like a day or two before they reiterating their commitment to Israel, and then it happens, and then it's kind of crickets. And then maybe like 3, 4, 5 days later, you'll hear some more reiterating their commitment to Israel. It's like usually the commitment to Israel usually is kind of quiet right at the time when they're doing some wild shit. So that way, my theory is it's like you can't like really directly connect it because you kind of can, but you kind of can't because you can't be like, oh, he said that in response to this. It was before. But
what Dan Cohen says right here about this statement that she makes, because it is 100%. Israel first. Even Israel is mentioned before the U.S. in the context. It's just ridiculous. But Dan Cohen says, I'm an American Jew and spent several months working in Gaza as a journalist. Hamas could have easily harmed me, taken me captive, or killed me, but it took extra measures to protect me while never interfering in my work. Hamas is resisting against genocide, just like the Jews of the Warsaw Ghetto resisted against the Nazis. Zionists are today's Nazis, and they have such influence in the U.S. government that the White House press secretary mentions Israel before her own country. The U.S. does not have sovereignty under Zionism, and allowing this fifth column to influence our country will destroy it.
Yeah, and the exact quote I was looking for is what she says right here. All those who seek to terrorize not just Israel, but also the United States of Israel will see, or United States of Israel. That was a Freudian slip there. United States of America. We will see a piece to pay. Yeah, no, it's accurate though. All hell will pay loose or break loose. So, yeah,
very, very similar messaging. Is coming from these administration officials.
Oh, that's what was 100. That's clearly was a callback to Trump's thing because he did say at one point, "All hell will break loose." That was 100% a reference to that. So
and they're snotty, dude. Like the way the way that they just kind of address the public to begin with is just very much they're extremely aggressive in kind of the rollout of their policy positions. But I get it. I mean, it's very interesting though to at least notice that they all seem to be using very similar, just as far as in communicating this message to the public, it seems very similar in many ways. And then, by the way, did you see fucking Tim Walz talking to Gavin Newsom? I thought it was so damn funny.
I can't say I did. No, I mean, I think I heard something about it, but I did not. I mean, if you have something specifically in there that you feel like would be worthwhile
it's
for the
really
show,
probably not
yeah.
worth bringing to the table, but it is still like to see they view the alternative media landscape. They view individual shows like our own as a legitimate threat. You know what I mean? And they're addressing that threat, I think, accidentally, but they're kind of like exposing their true underlying concern. But yeah,
I was just thinking about the other day. I think we're due for another. I'm feeling. I'm going to go ahead and throw this out of the ether. Maybe I'll be wrong. I have a feeling about. I have a feeling we might see a return of YouTube censorship, and I think I wouldn't be surprised if the move is for anti-Semitism. That becomes the move. I mean, maybe I'm wrong. We'll see. I don't know if they're ready to go that far, or if the Trump administration has their hooks into that media apparatus quite like the Biden administration did, especially coming off all the Twitter files and stuff. That might be a little too soon, but I could totally see it, especially since these guys did kind of fall in line, at least so far as like a kind of being friendly to even Zuck, has made like multiple comments about how cool Trump is, and like he's clearly kind of slowly shuffling to the right to hang out with those guys. He's like, I want to be with my buddies Elon and Teal, and that's what he's working. So he's feeling left out. He's coming to. So it does seem like the tech world's on his side. So maybe I wouldn't be surprised if we start seeing on the I mean, we already see it. Hell, I mean, anytime I say. I mean, there's so often you see on Twitter shit that's like just deboosted, or I get some whore that fucking account that fucking likes my shit immediately. And you're like, oh, cool. You guys are clearly deboosting me. Oh, that's awesome. I'm going to get 3 likes in this one. And then randomly, the next tweet I'll put out will be something not Israel related and do like 100. You're like, oh, okay, well, what the fuck's going on here? Yeah.
Did you see Netanyahu's statement about Hamas being responsible for the war?
Was it Netanyahu himself, or I thought there were? I mean, there's multiple statements. I think people saying that, so I didn't know. I didn't see Netanyahu said it, but I said a lot of other people parroting that. Yeah, and I think that I saw some USA administration individual at some sort of like UN meeting say exactly the same thing. So that's the official US position. It seems like at this point too, is that no, this is Hamas's fault. Hamas killed themselves.
Exactly, and that's the reason I think for the anti-Semitism bills, they're going to be like, hey, it's the Muzzies. That's the reason we passed this, and so we can implement it on all of you, right? So,
well,
unfortunately,
damn. I mean, that's what the Mahmoud Khalil kind of precedent-setting operation seems to have been, right?
You're right on it, buddy. I was about to segue right into it. Let's do it.
I mean, hey, it's starting to really feel like after I probed a little deeper into his background, this guy glows like the sun. It seems like he's 100% some sort of compromised counterintelligence asset that's being like leveraged to potentially create this precedent-setting operation where they could violate our First Amendment constitutional rights. And I honestly think that that's a part of this entire. It is truly a precedent-setting notion. If you're going to utilize this green card holder who's married to a U.S. citizen as a opportunity to, again, just further, violate these inherent God-given rights that we're supposed to be able to exercise on a daily basis. And so what I think is potentially happening when you realize that this guy, Mahmoud Khalil, man, you look into his background. And he was, of course, a graduate student at Columbia University School of International Public Affairs, which is SIPA, at the time of the 2024 Columbia University pro-Palestinian campus occupations. But here's the deal. He seems to be connected to a honeypot in Beirut, where this ties directly into the intelligence agencies, including very prominent individuals such as even Victoria Nuland. Because when I believe he was, he's actually the child of 2 Palestinians, but I believe he was raised in Lebanon, even though he's from Syria technically, which is very interesting. But Yeah, so he inevitably he got a lawful permanent residential green card right after possessing a green card and in the U.S. But it's interesting because when you look at his background, he's born in this refugee camp in Damascus in '95, and these are two Palestinian refugees from Tiberias, and he and his family flee to Lebanon, and this is after the onset of the Syrian civil war. And so then you have this journalist named Lauren Bone, who she's connected to the Council on Foreign Relations, and so here you go, where she happens to meet Khalil.
We got some CFR, and this is Lauren Boone.
Yep.
So okay, she meets Khalil. All right, go on.
Yeah,
Just to
so
reiterate
she
that.
meets Khalil, and this is a journalist as well. So keep in mind how they utilize journalists, puppets on a string. They're very much, many of them are honestly spooks themselves. So they're typically utilized not only as an asset but also an operator. and so anyway, Lauren Bone, she meets Khalil in Beirut while reporting on the Syrian refugee crisis, and she claims that Khalil often referred to himself as a double refugee, as a Palestinian in Syria and a Syrian refugee in Lebanon. Bone reported that Khalil taught himself English while working with Syrian refugees through the Syrian American education nonprofit Junsor, which I'm sure there's much more to that organization as well. He then earns a bachelor's degree in computer science from the Lebanese American University in Beirut. He spends years working for this British government Foreign Commonwealth and Development Office, where he manages the Chevening Scholarship from the British Embassy in Beirut, and supporting basically in this position supports diplomats with his language skills and local knowledge. He then in 2022 immigrates to the U.S. on the student visa to attend SIPA, which SIPA offers courses related to intelligence and war. It's taught by faculty with backgrounds in intelligence, such as former Deputy Assistant Director of the CIA for Europe and Eurasia. They have these, apparently they hold these events where they have guest speakers that include prominent figures from the intelligence community, such as John Brennan, James Clapper. They offer career paths, right, to many of these SIPA graduates. And many of these graduates pursue a career in U.S. and foreign government agencies, including intelligence roles and recruitment. So that alone, I'm like, very, very strange. And so then I look it up even further, and I discovered that Victoria Nuland happens to be the ambassador. She is Shelby Colum Davis Professor in the Practice of International Diplomacy and Director of the International Fellows Program at SIPA. And so this is where she is training basically newly recruited intel operatives and assets on how to conduct themselves at the operational level. So here you fucking go. I mean, what honestly, what are we dealing with? You know, like it honestly seems that
some sort of op. Yeah, it's
some
that way.
sort of counterintelligence operation.
I mean, that makes sense. If you're going to start this, like, make a big show of it, do one of your own guys. Because then it's like, or somebody in the network, I mean, like, hey, it makes it a little bit easier than if you're playing pretend as opposed to real theater with real stakes. You can just kind of, I don't know, makes the pill go down a little bit easier, and then now you've got your precedent to from there kind of slowly boil the frog,
Exactly.
So yeah,
it is honestly it's the way the deep state functions. It's the NGO complex at work once more. And so, not shocking to me. But did you notice that Tulsi Gabbard, she's calling for...
Yeah, I actually saved that. I saved that.
What the fuck?
I haven't read the Reddit yet, but like, I don't know, whatever. It just kind of, here are your heroes. Everyone was fucking nutting over, oh my God, they're gonna fucking convert Tulsi Gabbard and JFK. Oh, Dan Bongino. Oh, Cash Patel. Oh. Yeah, how have those fucking turned out? How have those turned out? I mean, yeah, sure, okay. I mean, once again, to back up, it's like, yeah, it's a W in a sense. It's moving in the right way, but like, man, I don't know. You gotta kind of like, I feel like people need to manage their, I don't know, their excitement to some extent, because it's like, yeah, okay, cool. I mean, that's something, and I guess an advancement in the right direction. These individuals, maybe, if that. I mean, like, I don't know, at the end of the day, if you have someone who's like claims ideologically to be further along the path towards where you are, but yet when it really comes down to it, they end up just doing the establishment moves the same way that was out before. I mean, I guess it is sort of like, cool, we got that rhetoric out there, or at least but even then, sort of not, because now they're slowly being associated with those positions in a sense, and like, I don't know, man. It is one of those things. I don't know. You just kind of throw your hands up and you're like, I don't fucking know.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't know. It's this to me. It's how you accomplish that tiptoe toward totalitarianism, right? It's like the totalitarian state is effectively being ushered in, and I think it's coming off of the heels of just mass deception, and just manipulating the perception to such an extent to where you have people who are legitimately carving resist and throwing Molotov cocktails into Tesla into like what are we doing here? What are you accomplishing with this? This is the resistance. This is so strange how people have convinced themselves that they somehow have a role to play in this, when in reality, man, you're a slave like the rest of us. You're a tax slave. You understand? This is an environment of serfdom in the modern age, and you've yet to realize this. And so I think, again, it falls in line with acknowledge our common enemy once and for all, or else we're doomed to repeat these cycles over and over again and fall into the very same traps and wonder how we got here while blaming each other on each side of the political aisle. What is that achieving? Absolutely nothing, man. And meanwhile, we're our taxpayer dollars are supporting policies that are legitimately just on the world stage. I mean, what credibility do we have? Like,
none,
honestly,
really. Yeah.
None.
And we have Eddie here saying, he was looking at satellite images earlier and he's saying that Iranian spy ship is in port. So I'm hoping you're correct. I am hoping you're correct.
So.
Yeah. For those who aren't aware, on the morning show we covered apparently there was, with all the stuff going on in Iran, it got kind of somewhat not reported much, but there was reports from last night that they downed some Iranian spy ship, but for some reason I saw like no reporting on it. Even you brought it to my attention. I don't know where you saw it, but yeah, the reporting was weirdly non-existent. Yep. I mean, I guess it wasn't real, so I guess maybe that might be part of it. But I mean, I would have thought that would spread like wildfire given the time is going on. And even if they want to seed it and like we don't know, we have reports coming in or something. But yeah, I guess it looks like it's not happening or didn't happen.
Yeah, remember it was alleged to have been this Iranian intel ship, right? This signal intelligence named like the Zagros. Right?
Zagros. Yeah, that's right. Zagros. Yeah, Zagros.
But yeah, this was unconfirmed reports by Saudi, right? So again, as I mentioned this morning, that it was Saudi reports that this was coming from, right? So dramatic night of Saudi sources claim Iranian intel ship Zagros was sunk by U.S. forces at the same time the IDF conducted the wide-ranging strikes in Gaza after Israel. Okay, so that is where it came from. So again, it's been unconfirmed. So I wouldn't be surprised if it's just fog of war. You never know, man. War propaganda is a real thing.
Yeah. So, by the way, I do want to apologize to Bobo. I was supposed to cover some St. Patrick's related material for the morning dump. Well, yesterday. We didn't do it yesterday, but I was going to do it today, and then I don't know, the world fucking blew up. So I'm sorry. Irish stories took a backseat today, buddy. But yeah, I think on the Mahmoud thing, I think it'd be interesting also to probably take a little bit of a dig into his wife, because I mean, if he's spooked out, I mean, let's be real, she's spooked
like
out.
A honeypot. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like her whole the fact that she had a connection to the Council on Foreign Relations, that's strange as hell. Like it very much seems like.
Is that the girlfriend? I must have forgot the name.
girlfriend was the journalist who met him
Okay.
while covering like refugee crisis in Syria or in Lebanon, I believe. But yeah, totally nuts. But anyway, so one last thing on kind of at least my end of some of this foreign policy that's been happening is the fact that, did you see this anonymous Israeli army officer who reveals this widespread use of Palestinians as human shields during Gaza operations, which we already know that,
Yeah.
you know, the official leadership had been aware of this, and it had essentially been a policy that was authorized.
Yeah, I mean, I've
yeah.
seen stories about this multiple times, but I think this is probably the first time there was like someone that would like, you know, kind of like this, yeah, like yeah.
It's
So
nuts because he says that, and this is coming from Haaretz, right? So he admitted that Palestinians were used as human shields during combat operations in Gaza. He said that the practice had already been used before, but that it is now more prevalent than the Israeli public is led to believe. This is a new record, he wrote, adding that in Gaza, human shields are used at least 6 times a day. The officer suggested that if the military police were serious about investigating, there would be over 2,190 cases under investigation, accusing them of only conducting superficial investigations to appear accountable by blaming scapegoats. Having served in Gaza for 9 months, the officer described new military procedures, particularly the controversial mosquito procedure. Innocent Palestinians are forced to enter houses in Gaza and qualify them to check that there are no terrorists or explosives in them. He noticed
yeah, they called the Gazans, I believe, was it mosquitoes? And I don't know if it was Israeli, or I think it was the West Bank ones they called wasps or something, right?
It was even worse than that. They called them slaves, and essentially it was. Hold on, I got it here. Yeah,
Tim Tuttle, you are correct. That the latest one you're thinking of was the one where they literally used the old man as a human shield. They essentially tied a bomb around his neck, made him look around, and then after he did all that he was supposed to, looked around and did all this shit. Then they were like, "All right, you can go." And then I think he made it like 100 meters and got shot. so
crazy, man. Yeah, they call them shawish or slaves, and yeah, basically they were forced to enter homes in Gaza to check for Hamas fighters or explosives and make sure it was safe for the soldiers to enter themselves. The soldiers refer to Palestinians forced to clear homes in this way as shawish or slaves. Sometimes shawish are sent to houses simply to set fire to or blow up the house. During the first months of the Israeli ground invasion, soldiers primarily used dogs or robots to clear homes. However, the practice of using civilians as human shields expanded over time. I didn't understand back then how common it would become. Today, almost every company holds shawish, and infantry forces don't enter a house before the shawish clears it, he explained. This means there are at least 4 Palestinians held against their will as human shields in each platoon, 12 in each battalion, and 36 in each brigade. That is so crazy.
Yeah, it's basically become a part of the unit.
Exactly.
Yeah.
No, this is commonplace. According to the soldier, the most senior levels of the Israeli military in Gaza have known about human shields for more than a year, and no one tried to stop it. On the contrary, it was defined as an operational necessity. We're holding a group of slaves, and the MP are trying to cover it up with 6 investigations, the soldier concluded. The military's use of human shields story was first revealed by Haaretz in August last year. A senior military source there said that both the chief of staff and the outgoing Southern Command Major General knew about the procedure. That's basically it. But it's still just, my God, man. You think about such barbaric war crimes that are being conducted on a daily basis.
And then something that the IDF are now using the Palestinians as human shields.
Oh, they have been, for a hot minute. Yeah, that's been a thing.
Yeah, they replaced the dogs and the robots.
You got something else to say? Go ahead. There you go.
Well, I was just going to say first, they're all talking about how the Palestinians were using other Palestinians as human shields when I don't know if that's true or not, but now it comes back full circle because now they're using them. So Makes sense to me.
Absolutely. Oh, and by the way, earlier I was reading through that part 1 of one of the most recent Unlimited Hangout pieces called by Ian Davis. So fucking good, man. It's called The Dark MAGA Gov Corp Technate Part 1. And that the second part's already out as well. But I read through it, and my God, brother, I had no realization. I understood that Elon Musk had very strange familial connections, but I didn't know about his grandfather, Joshua Haldeman, and his Technocracy Incorporated. And the fact that this motherfucker was a member of the Canadian Social Credit Party, SOCRED, and he had complete goals or a complete vision with the goals of implementing a universal basic income and a social credit score. So this was his grandfather, and that's how they inevitably he went to South Africa after that, and his mother, due to his mother connections to Canada, he basically got a visa, which then allowed him to get to the U.S., which was his ultimate goal. But it's very strange, man. It's it makes all the sense in the world why this guy would be tapped on the shoulder as one of the key components as far as operators to implement this technocracy that I truly believe is the ultimate pivot. The restructuring of a lot of these industrial, as far as just you see how we're being kind of led into this alternative solutions, right? They're acting as if there are these, well, we can now have this, right, AI-led government in certain industries and various things of that nature. And what was that?
Oh, I was giggling because I was remembering that I was bringing up. I wasn't going to address it, but I said, remember they shoot themselves at times. Remember the Florida incident. I kind of chuckled. That's probably what caught your attention. Me laughing a little because I was like, oh yeah, I don't remember. I don't know. Were you on the show or you may have seen it? There was that like the in Florida. They were like it was really bizarre. They just shot. There was like these guys and this one dude just started shooting at him, and I thought then it was like, and then his reasoning later when he got arrested was like they were Palestinians. And you're like, what the fuck? But then come to find out they were Israeli. You're like, what the fuck is going on? And they were like all on vacation and like in Florida or some shit. It was bizarre. Like, what the fuck is going on?
That is one of the most ridiculous stories. But it's kind of crazy how much, I keep referencing the concept of allowable opinion at this moment because it has pushed to such a dark, it's been pushed into a very dark place. As far as just in reference to these conflicts on the world stage, but especially considering the foreign policy aspect of these military conflicts. Like, I mean, we're seeing dead babies on a daily basis, man. Like that's something that it's just a little hard to be that exposed to so often, but without having some sort of like emotional impact. Yeah. But it's just like, I don't understand, how people aren't more concerned with understanding the details here and not sort of participating in the current system as it is structured, which is why, like, I'm not on any sort of moral high horse. I'm just saying that I refuse to participate, man, as much as they conscript me and coerce me anyway, due to the structure of the current system and the taxpayer, right? Just being a tax slave in general, right? We have no real choice in regard to our involvement. And in reality, I mean, we have, there will be legitimate consequences to all of these conflicts. Yes, and it's
who was it? There was a tweet I saw today that was from some, I think, I don't know if it was an Israeli Jew but he was like, I remember it was Jeffrey K. He's like an author that I followed some of his articles and stuff. And I don't know. Anyways, he was making the point that like, this is going to, at some point, this is going to come home to roost. Like, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. I don't know how this plays out. Maybe they get their greater Israel and they get left the fuck alone. But like, I just don't see you destabilizing everyone around you into bullying around. Like I don't see this being sustainable way. At some point, it's got to come back to roost. I don't. I mean, especially it's one thing like. We could probably get away with doing that to like Mexico and Canada or something, maybe. Even then, that would be like really fucking stupid in my opinion, because it'd be like really disastrous. But like, we're also not a tiny little country in the Middle East surrounded by an assortment of people that we've just kind of been insanely cunty to all for like our entire existence, and our literal existence is based off of essentially murdering a bunch of their homies. So. Like, I don't know, not really a great recipe for success. Like, yeah, sure, we came in there, we and don't get me wrong, we have issues with our establishment of America, we caused problems with the Indians and blah, 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 but it's like, okay, like, for one, like, the Indians didn't take over Mexico, and the Indians, like, I don't know, we're way past that. We're also not, like, imprisoning them. Like, they can live on reservations if they want to. If anything, we hook them up with extra bennies for this. Like, they don't, like, man, they're treated like normal citizens.
Right. What if Israel is actually the key component within the globalist framework, implementing the true New World Order that everyone likes to laughably dismiss? It's like, hey, man, the New World Order is real, right? Yeah. Why not use the Jews to achieve it? I mean, honestly, they got a blank check after World War II. They've been cashing that thing in, and I'm just saying, like, once you realize the official narrative behind World War II is just ridiculous and on its face. And
Hitler was a Jew. I'm just kidding. I don't know.
But you discover that, man, in the context of Gladio, brother, this came up, which I found so just fascinating. But it was all within this context that I discovered Colonia Dignidad, and basically what really boils down to these pro-Nazi groups are all around the world, had large amounts of money, were sent to basically this Paul Schaefer individual, right, who's a SS, right, and or was a member of the SS, and but it's very strange because this colony that was created, Colonia Dignidad, in South America, it was basically, just for anyone who's unaware, surrounded by barbed wire fence, searchlights, a watchtower. The colony, disguised as a cultural and welfare society, was basically served as a refuge for Martin Bormann and Joseph Mengele, and both the CIA and Simon Wiesenthal, right, the famous investigator, have presented evidence of the presence at the Colonia Dignidad, of Joseph Mengele, right? And so Mengele was among hundreds of fleeing Nazi war criminals who had found safe haven in Paraguay, South America. And this was called Nueva Germania, founded in 1886 by Nietzsche's sister Elizabeth and her husband. The idea of such an Aryan colony had been conceived of by composer Richard Wagner, who was greatly admired by Nietzsche and his sister.
Nietzsche's sister was in this?
Yes, bro.
Oh, fuck, dude. Yeah, because I remember she's the one that a lot of people attribute the fact that Nietzsche... People say Nietzsche was like pro-Hitler, but then it's like usually because they're attributing to his sister. I don't know to what degree it's true, and then people find ways to kind of comport his... like. I haven't read enough Nietzsche to even know if that really comports to the way Hitler thought, but I know a lot of people try to apply that to it. But yeah, but go on, sorry.
No, you're good, man.
I just want to point that little bit out because there is some interesting context there. People always bring up him in relation to Hitler as if they were like homies, and I don't think that's the case from my understanding.
Right. No, but the Colonia Dignidad, was basically used as the main point of entry for shipments of arms in support of the coup against Allende and repressions that followed under Pinochet. Right, so you have this chief intermediary named Gerard Mertens, and he's a well-known member of the Waffen-SS who attained the rank of major during the war, carried out through Merrick's AG with the assistance of the German BND and the intelligence agencies, other intelligence agencies. So during the war, Mertens served under Otto Skorzeny and was one of the officers of the SS Commando involved in the daring mission that freed Mussolini from his prison in Gran Sasso, Italy in 1943. After the war, he accepted a position at Volkswagen, but his specialty was weapons trading, and he became one of the most important exporters of munitions from West Germany. For that purpose, Mertens established Merckx AG in Bonn, which specialized in selling Bundeswehr surplus materials worldwide. In 1965, Merckx was named the West German representative for the International Armament Corporation, also known as Interarms or Interarmco, a company founded by American small arms dealer Sam Cummings. And that happened in 1953, in which came to dominate the market in private arms sales in the free world. Cummings also worked together with the CIA, including supplying arms for the coup in Guatemala in 1954. And Mertens and Cummings were also involved in deals involving Pakistan and India, which went sour, affecting the reputation. But Mertens ran Mondal Export, which was in fact involved in international arms smuggling and a source of laundered funds for a section of the BND. And this was the BND2 for operations in Italy and elsewhere. So this, again, is Gladio all day long. But then it boils down to, basically, there's Jack Anderson, the legendary columnist that I mentioned in the context of Watergate before, because he's the individual that Howard Hunt was talking with, that CIA poisons expert with G. Gordon Liddy, I believe, was the one he had brought to this meeting with the CIA poisons expert. And they're like, hey, what's the best way we could assassinate an American journalist for telling the truth to the public and exposing the CIA's clandestine policies of regime change? And they came up with a few different ideas, and one of them being, we could I've mentioned this before, we could strike his car at a specific at a specific angle, which would lead to they had like a percentage that was like very much, it would typically lead to 9 times out of 10 it would lead to homicide, death, for the individual who was struck by the first vehicle. So then there was another option. They thought about aspirin roulette was the other option they threw out on the table, which was we could just put a poison pill in his aspirin bottle and wait for it to take effect. And so Jack Anderson, he provided these gruesome details of these torture methods employed at Colonia Dignidad in a column he wrote called Operation Condor, an Unholy Alliance, August 3rd, 1979. He says, assassination teams are centered in Chile. This international consortium is located in Colonia Dignidad, Chile, founded by Nazis from Hitler's SS, headed by Franz Pfeiffer Richter. Adolf Hitler's 1,000-year Reich may not have perished. Children are cut up in front of their parents. Suspects are asphyxiated in piles of excrement or rotated to death over barbecue pits. This is, and then Peter Levinda, he concludes, as the colony is known for child snatching, child sexual abuse, and weird religious observances, it gets the author's vote as the only real, verifiable satanic cult fitting the profile, a cult from which satanic cult survivor syndrome is more than today's psychological fad. And so then, basically, this is what is the entire reason that I brought this up in the first place. Mm-hmm. And this is Operation Gladio, which is so crazy.
Oh,
and
shit.
Dude, Jules, this will fit perfectly. Yeah, with you being present. So basically, Miguel Serrano, this guy right here, he's a Chilean diplomat and the next leading proponent of esoteric Hitlerism. After Savitri Devi claimed that Colonia Dignidad was actually a UFO base in contact with the Nazi base in Antarctica. And by the way, I discovered this insane story about in 2019. This Navy SEAL reveals a secret mission to an ancient buried structure in Antarctica. He claims that he claims that he's sent there to pick up this group of scientists. I think they were Russians. I can't remember now. But he's sent there to pick up this group of scientists, and he says that once he gets to this black site, because it's it's obviously it's covert in nature as far as its location. He gets there with this team of Navy SEALs for this rescue operation because they weren't getting any sort of response for like quite some time from this area where these scientists were located. And so he gets there, and none of the scientists were verbal whatsoever. They looked as if they were in a hypnotic trance. That was how it was described. It's such a crazy story. And I found out that that this whistleblower, retired U.S. Navy SEAL, he basically describes that he gives a testimony and claims he was a Navy flight engineer who had flown numerous support missions with the Antarctic Development Squadron from 1983 to 97. He witnessed a number of anomalies pointing to hidden facilities or base locations deep under the Antarctic ice sheets. He says he witnessed, and this again falls in line with, what I think is kind of like, the limited hangout of the Disclosure Project, and because I think extraterrestrials are basically being kind of rebranded.
What if the extraterrestrials was the Jews we met along the way?
Right. Honestly, I think that most likely I would believe them to be demons more than I would believe them to be extraterrestrials, right?
I'm not even religious, and I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Actually, I don't know. I'm kind of torn. I guess.
Come on, Jose.
It depends. I don't know. I'm very torn on it. I don't buy. I mean, I don't buy aliens currently, like as they're being sold to us. I wouldn't be surprised if there are aliens, but like. Yeah. I don't know. That's kind of where I am. But I am with you. You're saying this is kind of like a limb hang. I do. This feels like all of the, all the UFO stuff, the misinformation stuff, the I think a lot of this stuff was, I mean, sure. I mean, I'm not going to preclude the idea that maybe sometimes, some researcher was on the right track and then they got, actually on UFOs or aliens or something. And there was some truth there. But for the most part, I think it's generally speaking, feds throwing out fucking misinfo or kind of deflecting or whatever, and it's a lot of this shit is just like no, they were really like as we've talked about Colonia Dignidad quite a bit. That was bad enough. Now if you're talking to her like, oh well, it was actually a UFO base. Now you're making it fucking more ridiculous. You're making it like it's not.
This part right here though, this is tied directly to Gladio. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah,
and I clearly I pivoted and went to this more modern example that I had discovered of this U.S. Navy SEAL special operation in 2003 that traveled to Antarctica to investigate a perfectly geometric 8-sided octagon structure discovered by ground-penetrating radar near Beardmore Glacier, about 93 miles from the American McMurdo Station. Another previous team of engineers and scientists had dug out the top layer of one octagon made of a pure black substance that was built on top of two more black octagonal structures that went down deep into the 2-mile thick ice. In the video, the Navy SEAL described the launch of his mission from an aircraft carrier voyaging near West Antarctic's Ross Sea. He was taken by helicopter to McMurdo Station, the largest U.S. base in Antarctica, and then taken by ground transport to the structure's location. He described entering a doorway approximately 50 feet under the ice. He estimated the walls of the structure is about 18 to 30 feet thick and the ceiling height at around 22 to 28 feet. He said that the walls, ceiling, and floor were made of a black basalt material that looked like shiny black marble. The interior was heated to around 68 to 72 degrees and was also lighted by a lime green source projected from the ceiling and floor. He did not see any heating or lighting equipment, which added to the mystery of the buried structure. Only part of the structure, he stated, has been uncovered so far by the archaeological teams, with the rest buried under the ice and extending far below. Ground-penetrating radar had shown the structure to be an octagon in shape and covering an area of 62 acres. He described the walls and doors as being covered by hieroglyphs that were about 8 inches high and about 2 inches deep. The hieroglyphs were neither Egyptian nor Mayan, but appeared similar to both in terms of depicting animals and other strange symbols. The story gets very crazy. It's super interesting and worthwhile for if you haven't heard of this.
Probably some Sumerian, baby.
Dude, hey man, it seems very interesting at the very least. But the last thing I want to say, and then I'll let this go. I'll let this go.
Oops, I didn't mean to bring. I thought that was going to.
No, you're good. You're good.
Okay.
We don't even. Okay, cool. But basically, in Adolf Hitler, the last avatar. This is important because
the last. I don't know why
know,
that
right?
sounds so
Great
cool.
fucking name,
Hitler,
dude.
the last
Yeah,
avatar.
dude,
I
it's a
want that
great
fucking movie. Can you imagine
know,
fucking? Can you imagine fucking Hitler like fucking air and water bending and all that shit? It'd be fucking sick.
100%. Oh my god!
Have you watched what is it? JoJo's Rabbit? I never finished it. I need to finish it, but have you seen it, Jules? Yeah, the first like. I haven't JoJo Rabbit. I haven't finished. I watched like the first 10 minutes, and I was like, "It's the funniest shit ever."
I'll watch it actually.
Yeah, the first 10 minutes just like it's just like literally a bunch of Hail Hitler, Hail Hitler, Hail Hitler. Like they literally make a joke out of it. Like every time they introduce, they're like Hail Hitler, Hail Hitler, Hail Hitler.
Hilarious.
It's great. It's worthwhile if that's the kind of shit you find funny.
No, I've been I've intended on watching it for quite some time. Honestly, I just haven't taken the time.
Me
to
too.
do it,
It's actually till now that I just remembered I watched like 15 minutes of it and then forgot about it. I'm awful about TV. I hardly watch TV or movies.
Same. I've very much learned to compartmentalize things, so I can still enjoy it to some extent. But I can't handle it, man. The vast majority of things that stem out of Hollywood these days are, at the very least, ethically hollow, but if not kind of driving you into an immoral direction. And usually, man, it's just demoralizing content too, like things that aren't necessary for the structured plot. Like it makes no sense. What are we doing here? But again, that's the purpose. So main point being here, so we can move on and pivot to a different direction. This is crazy interesting. So this Serrano, this individual who, by the way, very prominent within the context of esoteric Hitlerism, but also in the context of Gladio, okay, in these post-World War II rat lines and these stay-behind networks. And so Serrano, he proposed that Hitler was the 10th avatar of Vishnu, the Kalki avatar, who
the fire-bending avatar. This time it'll come from the Fire Nation. Sorry, I can't help myself.
He has. It's so occult in nature, though. This belief system, and that is what UFOs and extraterrestrials stem from. It's occultism. It's rebranded occultism. They're acting like this is some right
demonology, as we mentioned, demons.
Yeah.
This is
a New Age esoteric ideological system of control. The New Age religion being structured to again trap a lot of individuals who are fleeing from conformed religious structures, right, and are very desperate with this to fill this God hole that they don't quite understand, which I honestly believe is a huge factor involved with a lot of. This is why people worship false prophets. And become what is identity politics?
How stupid you're gonna look when how stupid you're gonna look when the Hyperion gods come with afflated UFOs and
you dumb fuck, get your shit together.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there, but are you? So you're good there? Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So, no, you're good. So this Kalki avatar is incarnated to end the Kali Yuga and usher in a new age. Serrano believed that after the defeat of the Third Reich, Hitler had escaped from the ruins of Berlin and found a refuge in Antarctica. Serrano shared the ufologist's belief that U.S. Navy's Operation High Jump was not launched for the purposes of mapping and training, as was officially claimed, but to destroy the Nazi base. In the Golden Thread, Esoteric Hitlerism, 1978, Serrano claimed that Hitler was in Shambhala, formerly at the North Pole and Tibet, which had been relocated to an Antarctic base in New Swabia. There, Hitler was in contact with the Hyperborean gods, and he would someday emerge with a fleet of UFOs to lead the forces of light over the forces of darkness in a last battle and to inaugurate a Fourth Reich.
I'd watch that fucking movie.
Dude, what a fucking badass movie, right? It is so crazy, though. Like, these are real belief systems tied to, what is it in the
everything changed when the Nazi nation attacked.
But honestly, in the Bhagavad Gita.
Yeah.
You have and in the Upanishads, but the Vimana, right? That was technically UFOs, right? Like being described technically, and but in the context of like the Tool Society and this belief system in general, it's traced back to this Knights Templar Rosicrucian order, this occult belief, this occult framework. And so that's really what I wanted to point out, which I found to be the most interesting. And by the way, it gets crazier than that. There's basically an entire other rundown of the Council of the Nine and the CIA's pursuit of programs, of course, as MK Ultra and Project Stargate, represent attempts to explore ideas and reproduce phenomena experienced through their associations with the occult. Ultimately, the entire basis of occult ritual and Freemasonry is communication with discarnate entities referred to as demons in former times, more popularly now as extraterrestrials. So it's exactly
like we're talking about Tim Pool. Given the context.
Yeah, right.
Since he's up right now.
But
for the audio listeners, there's a picture of Tim Pool up
right.
We're about to play the weekly dump here in a minute, but sorry, go on.
You should watch Iron Sky, by the way. There's Iron Sky and Iron Sky 2, but it's basically about that, like Hitler being a reptilian who lived throughout every civilization. Yeah. And
that's two?
Yeah.
Wait, that's two? Like what the fuck was one?
I can't remember, but I did watch two.
What the hell happened in the first one that here you are?
It's worth the watch.
I'm down. I will check it out. But my final last thought is basically just the fact that it falls into that same exact point that I made a moment ago, which was that it does seem like extraterrestrials are just rebranded demons, honestly. And that's what they're claiming, is that this is really a Freemasonry occult ritual, and that these entities are attempting to be summoned in various ways, whether it's just like for psychological purposes alone, to achieve, like, honestly, through seances and channeling and inspiration for the occult practices, really stems back within the CIA and the OSS. They truly were founded on these occult principles, and it represents this, basically using a medium in various ways. It's very much like Aleister Crowley and Thelema, but interpretations of the nature of the entities contacted. Obviously, it's many people have varying opinions, but in ancient times, essentially they were worshipped as gods, whereas in more recent times they've been interpreted to represent the spirits of the dead, or here we go, the ascended masters, which I believe that is a cult in the framework, and who've achieved this existence on higher planes of existence, right? And so it's the ascended masters ties directly back into the OTS, the Order of the Solar Temple, and yes, that the Templar Renaissance. So anyway, that's really it.
Yep, the ascended masters. Yep, that was the shadowy ones above. All right, let's go ahead and play this weekly dump. I haven't posted it yet on all the platforms, so keep an eye out if you like this. I don't know. I mean, whatever. You're about to watch it here, so I don't know why you would watch it elsewhere. But let's go and play this. This is just a kind of a quickly recap. This is just a transition from going from the beginning of the show into the call-in portion of the show. Plus, this is just a supercut of me and Austin's morning dump show throughout the week. So here you go. Enjoy this, and then after this we will start taking your calls, and we'll start talking about JFK, the JFK stuff. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and play this. Yeah, you're good.
Yeah, man. I'm just saying, like, this guy, he totally did out alpha you.
Oh my god.
So I guess this fucking ginger faggot is ATF. She has like the face of a Muppet too. Like
putting out minors that don't want and do not deserve.
This is fucking horseshit. All right, this is absolute fucking. So this is the informant in the big informant in the Whitmer kidnapping thing. So we're gonna go through. like, hey, we're literally giving you like the crazy schizo overview of like basically everything we talk about. So like, yeah, I can assume you guys have been in every show, but this Mahmoud Khalil guy, for those who haven't been paying attention, he's the guy recently that's facing deportation for essentially being anti-Israel. Cavalier says family reveals possible motive behind brutal murder of InfoWars reporter.
Get the right vibe for the record or something.
Dave, I'm not really down with serial killers.
No?
No. Speaking of
like my dad was one of them.
Operation Chaos, dog.
Like my dad was one of them.
It's just like, my God, man. Modern warfare is extraordinarily terrifying. And then
that's a real patriot there. That's someone who really. But I guess the Republican Jewish coalition will join Trump in backing a primary challenge to Kentucky Congressman Thomas Massey. So here we are.
He did start the church. His apostles are the college that he gives the Holy Spirit to.
So so the apostles went to college and then they started the church. So it's a man-made institution, like I said.
They went to college.
He very quietly got married, because if they'd have known he got married, he'd have been kicked out of the group. This is what was described as a suicide brigade. 5,000 men trained in all his devastation ways, right? He goes off to war, and he does some horrible things. He can't talk about those things.
All right.
And Henry Lee Lucas. Yes.
Okay, and Wayne Williams?
What? No, not Wayne Williams. Wayne Williams didn't get pardoned. But
I thought that's what you were saying. I was like, holy shit.
No. He went to Georgia. Had a meeting with the governor's office during the prosecution of Wayne Williams to say, we are prosecuting this dude, even though the federal prosecutor said, this is way too weak, the evidence that we have. There's a wider network at play. And George Bush,
it's many pages. Is it 80?
Did he ask me a summary of the JFK files?
Yeah, he did. Why did no one ask about, well, what about the Epstein files?
We were already like, oh shit. And then now this is...
This is a serious move.
That's my commentary on this.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm here to do the devil's business.
No, it was dumber than that. Something like
Rex.
All right. As you guys can see, it was a crazy week.
It was a banger.
Yeah, it was a good one. All right, guys. We're transitioning to the call-in portion. So call in at 941-281-5857. If you are a supporter of the show, then you're like, if you support me or Austin's patrons, we Patreons, we dropped our StreamYard links. I assume Austin did. I did earlier today. You have access. You can use those StreamYard links to come on as a video call. And so I'd like to see you guys start using that more. It's only costs $2 on my end, $3 I think on Austin's. So because he's worth more than me, I guess. But between that, if you chip in some support between the two of us, you can hop on these shows. Kind of like old Jules down here, as you can see. You could hang out with us, but otherwise, you guys can just call in with this number, shoot the bull with us. The only drawback when calling the phone number is you can only talk to me. They can hear you, but they can't talk back, so it kind of limits your speaking. But if you want to support the show, you can just as fluently as me and Austin and Jules are talking, you can do so as well. But with that, let's Jules, you want to go ahead and bring up the JFK story? That was dropped. I don't know. I don't really need the visual aid, but whatever. I figure you guys can see it. That way we can kind of give you the URL as well if you guys want to go look on your own. But,
You sent me this. Do you want me to pull up the files or the
well,
record?
just a tweet. That's it. Yeah. And then from there, I'll just show you. It says here. So the JFK files have been dropped. This is at archives.gov. The JFK assassination records. That's where you can find it. I don't. You're not going to get any sort of analysis from us tonight. It's just that they dropped. That's all we have right now. I don't know if Austin will be joining me tomorrow on the morning dump, but I will. I know I will at least. I mean, if Austin's with me, we will too. I've already had you guys tag us, me and Austin both, in like multiple different. You can even see a document right there. So, I mean, if there's anything you want, that's you guys want or you want, I mean, feel free. I haven't had a chance to look through them and see if there's anything meaningful. I figured we'd go through them on morning dump a lot, but if there's anything worthwhile, for sure we can definitely look through them right now. But that's where they dropped. I mean, there was this whole like, oh shit, are they not going to do it because they were supposed to drop the afternoon, and then just was like, oh no, and then all of a sudden there was some story about how they had to go see lawyers or some shit, and like I guess implying maybe some sort of redactions.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I mean,
there were instantly redactions in the first.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. You mean Ruth Payne?
Yeah.
I mean, you got Ruth Payne out there. You got to redact that shit,
I'm telling you,
Yeah.
it's hilarious. But I mean, I guess I can introduce it for a moment only because there's a Newsweek article that kind of covers just barely what's new and what has been, in like a very brief way. But yeah, honestly, man, like if as far as like in the 1970s, the House Select Committee on Assassinations uncovered internal CIA documents confirming the existence of what they called the fake defector program. Like there's so much information that's been out there. There's a reason that, they claim that 97% of the files are basically available to the public as is already. And so again, it's like, it's just unfortunate that people, the average person will probably view this as a political victory in terms of Trump and his administration. I would imagine, because I'll at least say that, hey, it happened. I mean, damn, at least as far as we just had the Epstein files happen and what everybody just turned the page instantly and doesn't give a shit.
We didn't have the Epstein
That's
files
what I mean.
happen. Yeah, I know.
They were never revealed. So it's
Yeah.
like now we just pivot into this direction, which is ultimately, in my mind, a limited hangout, because it's like, okay, we'll give you a little bit we'll dangle the truth in front of you for a moment. And anything that's really substantive, we already know. We already know who killed JFK. The CIA already came out and said, hey, by the way, this doesn't change our theory that Oswald acted alone. Like they've already done this. They've kind of covered their bases and insulated themselves from any accountability whatsoever. It's not going to change any sort of outcome. No consequences or accountability will take place in regard to transparency involved with the JFK files. So that's why this can be a political football. And so it's like, hey, now's the time. We'll release what is allowed. And that's exactly what happened, is that even the feds, the FBI claimed, who was it that was it Bondi? I can't remember who it was, that the administration official who admitted, they're like, oh, these are the files that we've received that we're willing to expose. Therefore, meaning that, hey, the FBI just admitted that they found like thousands of JFK file documents, but have they actually turned them over to the current administration? No. For transparency, no, they have not. And so therefore they will not see the light of day. And so in my mind, it's how it goes, right? It's the status quo and false transparency at its best. And so again, though, it is interesting, and I will say that there are some already I'm seeing some interesting files, like at least like filling in some holes within the narrative, and that itself is valuable. So it's not like there's no value to this. But again,
look, scroll up. Look at this. Is this your feed, or is this like a your no, scroll back down. I want to go to the Crimson News ones. It says Grok says there is nothing truly new. Gang, Grok says there's no new evidence to challenge the narrative that Lee Harvey Oswald acted alone. There you go.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, there you go.
What changed, brother? It's like absolutely nothing. And so here we are, given this it's placating the public, man. And again, it's placating individuals who were demanding transparency. And so if you're naive enough to buy this at face value, which most people will be, because who the hell is actually clicking the link and going to look at the files themselves? That shit doesn't happen, man. Who's actually spending time reading court documents?
Yeah. It's nerds like us.
Nerds like us, man. That's it.
Yeah.
And so, man, the truth always, right?
Sets
the
you
devil
free.
is in the details, right?
Wait.
No, man, stop. But honestly, the devil is in the details, and it always is. It comes out, and so it's just about seeing it for yourself. You know what I mean? And so, yeah, we just any sort of like many of these documents It's kind of hilarious. There are like notebooks. Apparently, there's a notebook relating to witnesses and other testimony among the documents. So some of that could be valuable. There's a Mary Mormon Polaroid included in the documents as well. I can show. Do you want me to actually show you what's included in the documents real quick, or do you want to keep scrolling up there?
I mean, you can. I'm fine with it. Whatever. I mean, that's you can. I mean, I'm not. Is there anything you think that's worthwhile? I just assumed there would be something. Okay, go ahead.
Not yet clear if any new information on death is covered in files. Obviously, this is Newsweek. Most of the files related to the assassination of JFK appear to be focused on the initial investigation by the Warren Commission in '64. Oh shit. Anyway.
Okay.
I just got a text. I'm sorry.
Oh, you're good. I mean, as we talked about this morning, I wouldn't be surprised if this is because they need distractions right now between obviously the dropping the ball on the Epstein, all the stuff going on in the Middle East, the Yemeni, the Iran, the fucking the Gaza shit. It's like they've got a pretty big like, hey, look over here. So you got these JFK stuff. We talked about this morning too that they're like, oh, Sleepy Joe, we're rescinding the fucking pardons, and it's like, what does that even do? I don't. What does rescinding the pardons really even? Does that mean they're going to prosecute? I doubt it, but it leaves that option open. I think it actually might be a tactic to keep them from talking out of line. But even then, even that aside, I mean, it could be some combination of that and like, oh, if we need a political football, like you said, we can do some hearings. Hearings are always, easy. Like, hey, shit, we needed this political distraction. Do some fucking hearings. Find something, and then we'll just do a bunch of sound bites with Nancy Mace, and somehow brings it about transgender bathrooms or something again. Like, shit like that. That'll be the move. That way they can drag it on. They can have these little sound bites. They will usually kind of, move it away from the stuff that actually really matters. And it's kind of like, oh, did you know they were doing tests on whether gerbils can be faggots or not? That's the kind of money they were spending. That's what they were spending your money on. You're like, why aren't you really focusing on the fact that they killed 37 Guatemalans in this one thing or whatever? Like, don't worry about that. Think about the gay squirrels. Like, that's how they act. Yeah. So, your mom. I see you back in the chat. What's up?
What's up, your mom?
Yeah, I'm curious to know what exactly is in these Michael Aquino drops. I'm trying to find them.
Namrock just said something about that.
Yeah. You can go and bring that up. Namrock, we were way ahead of you, pal. Yeah, we got those. If you want to bring those up, I want to show off that little text, that little Tweety poo, Jules.
Yeah, definitely.
So here we go. We see this is from our buddy Ken. Says not to get all hipster while everyone else reads the JFK dump, but the FBI also released more records today on a literal government-enabled satanic pedophile cult. That's Michael Aquino. For those who forget, he was the dude who fucking was tied into Operation Phoenix. He was a currently government. I believe multiple was he part of the, was he like implicated in the McMartin thing, I think, and some of the other shit too. Like he's
Presidio.
Yeah. So like this
Presidio's
dude,
the main one, right? The child abuse scandal up there, where Albanoski, the MP, right, the military police officer investigator up there at the Presidio in San Francisco, he discovered that there was a child abuse network being conducted there, and that satanic ritual abuse was among the what was being practiced, and that Michael Aquino specifically was named by one of the child victims, who took them directly to their actual residence off base, which is very strange, but it proved that Michael Aquino was very much a part of ritual sacrifice happening on base on the grounds of the Presidio. But anyway, very interesting. But so what's new on Aquino?
I have no idea. Once again, the news here today is that's what is new. We don't know yet. We haven't had a chance to. I have a feeling that once again, it's all distractions. I have a feeling that if there's anything that has any actual juicy, substantive, real fucking oh shit details, it'll probably be this. And this is the move. You drop this on the same day they drop the JFK files, and it goes, oh my god, JFK!
Right, it's what they did with the finders. Inserting that little McMartin, as far as like, oh yeah, by the way, we conducted an actual we had an expert come in and did and they essentially outlined how there were tunnel systems underneath the preschool, and that it was filled in, and that this was foreign dirt that was actually, proven to have been brought from outside and actually filled in this tunnel system. And it's very interesting. But I believe it was even the individual expert who came in to conduct this investigation. Basically, he was the expert that was on set for the Indiana Jones movies, which I found very interesting. But yeah, he discovered that yes, there was no doubt a tunnel system underneath the school that led to various private residences nearby, which was how they were actually trafficking the children during daylight hours. But yeah, again, man, I think that Michael Aquino, that individual, the mind war and the psychology of victory, right? It all comes from Lieutenant Colonel Michael Aquino and this sadistic pedophile who's very much been. I mean, he was attending the pink ballets and going to castles on UN diplomatic trips, right? Very interesting. But anyway,
okay, yeah. Here's the
narrative here connected to this release of the JFK Files is legitimately being portrayed as Trump fulfills this campaign promise with the release of the files. So there you go.
Yep.
Right. Where once again, we're getting the most transparent
Yeah,
administration in history.
I mean, he did, but I mean, I think this is the one a lot of us kind of had already said that, like, pretty much basically everything's out there, and people have this idea, and this is kind of even the case with the Epstein shit. People have this idea that, like, the stupid fucking slop, the fucking the Epstein list. You're like, dude, are you fucking retarded? Like, you really think they just were like, here is a list of all the people that fucked kids? Yeah, that's like, who would do that? What kind of fucking, what a bizarre way. I mean, don't get me wrong, yeah, you're gonna blackmail these people and stuff, but like to have like a neatly organized list of here's all the individuals I have blackmail on. Like, who would do that? And it's kind of the same thing with JFK, like the idea that you're gonna be like, and here's this document where the CIA goes, this is the one that we're going to save, this last document. We did it, guys, we did it. Yeah. Like that's the document, like, okay, sure, like that exists. I mean, I don't know. Well, I mean, once again, though, I'm not going to be too dour on this because who knows? I mean, yeah, I know we already got Grok saying that and shit and stuff, but I wouldn't be surprised if maybe there's some stuff that comes out of this, something interesting. I don't fucking know. We'll see.
Hey, man, at least it goes to show kind of like it's the same playbook, right? That they utilize over and over. Like this document that we were both tagged in by the Rage Child, I think. Shout out Rage Child. Was basically that.
Is it the one that we're on right now, or because otherwise you should bring it up?
It's the Ramparts magazine one.
Oh, you're just recalling it. I gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty much it's about the intelligence agent. I think his name was Underhill or something. Garrett Underhill, I think, and he's basically he's tied into this what seems to be. He was like basically this guy named Samuel Cummings of Inter-Armco, who, by the way, I just mentioned in the context of Colonia Dignidad and what was happening there. So Inter-Armco is directly tied into the JFK assassination, which, by the way, what was in the files at Colonia Dignidad? What the hell was in the files at Colonia Dignidad? Because that is very interesting to point out. And it turns out that, I'd mentioned this earlier, but there was at least some degree of cooperation between the German intelligence service, German arms dealer Gerard Mertens, and Colonia Dignidad, including the creation of the bunkers, tunnels, the state-of-the-art hospital with underground soundproof torture chambers, and runways for the decentralized production of armaments and modules. Citing an article sourced from the Historical Research Archive at williambranham.org, originally published June 2nd, 2005, between Tuesday and Wednesday of while the compound was being raided, the Chilean authorities found on the Colonia's premises, in addition to 3 arms depots, the secret files of the Colonia Dignidad. According to sources of the investigation, in several folders, there were about 500 files of various political leaders and artists, as well as records of people who disappeared during the dictatorship of Augusto Pinochet. One of these files had been given the name John F. Kennedy. and inside were 2 bullets of the same caliber that had allegedly been used in the assassination of JFK. The arsenal included dozens of surface-to-air missiles, rocket launchers, submachine guns, hand and cluster grenades, rifles, anti-personnel mines, automatic pistols, and a large amount of ammunition. As the investigation continued, officials even discovered weaponized sarin gas and revealed that the cult compound had indeed been manufacturing chemical and biological weapons. So that's it, man. I mean, that is, I can't even believe that came full circle. You can tie in Inter Armco and how they were directly affiliated with, this Nazi safe haven, which was entirely utilized by the CIA and the intelligence community on the world stage. So, yeah, man, what are we gonna get out of this?
Yeah, probably jack shit.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what are we going to get out of this?
By the way, we got Nicholas Lee in the chat. He says, Jose, ask Austin about getting Joe Atwill on as a guest. He's got some good info on October 7th fuckery and the newer Catching the Rye, crumbs being dropped. I don't know if you know this Joe Atwill guy. I don't know why he's asking me to ask you. I'm assuming that's implications that you know him or something. I don't know.
I have no idea, but I'm interested.
Okay. Or if he just knows that it's kind of like polite to ask the co-host as well. I do always ask you before a guest, which we probably should get some more guests. We're really bad about booking guests, guys. If you want guests, let us know. Let us know who you want. Also tag them online, because then that kind of forces us just go like, oh yeah, you want to come on the show, and then also I don't know. That's actually, especially big guests. I really fucking want to get Kurt Metzger on one of these days. That's who I want to get on. He's fucking sick. Tim Tuttle here says, one of the last interviews says podcasts Aquino did was promoting the airliners on 9/11 were holograms. Oh yeah, Nicholas Lee, if you know anything about this guy's social or anything, or his, whatever his videos, feel free to tag me or DM me, and I will try to look into him. Because I do try to vet anyone I do bring on the show, to kind of like that way I actually have something to talk to him about, because I'm not just going to bring on a random ass person I don't know anything about on the show. Yeah, so I'm willing to check him out and see what I think. See if there's somebody I could have a conversation with. I'd be open to it.
Hey, hold up. I gotta plug my phone in because it just died, and I have to respond to this, but I also have to take a piss real quick. So give me like 1 second. I'll be right back.
Oh, you're good. I'll interact with the chat a little bit. Bobo, he said, Austin Jose, speaking about arms, how did you like the J. Stark assassination by the German government? Bobo, I still have all those things bookmarked. I haven't had a chance to work myself through the J. Stark story. I do, after you tag me, I'm like, oh yeah, I do remember who this guy is. I remember seeing him. He's very common in the gun community. Has some pretty base lines. I do vaguely recall there was something odd about him being killed or something. Haven't had time. Just haven't had a chance to look into it. So that'll be something I'll have to look into at a later time. So yeah. Okay, cool. That's someone's talking. All right, there we go. Well, shit. He took a really weird time to leave. All right, let's scroll through this a little bit. Yeah.
Crazy, man.
Were you reading some of this while we're doing it?
Yeah, it's just about the SETI and kind of just the whole cult, and it's very Kabbalistic, dude. Like they talk about the Sephirot, the Kabbalistic tree of knowledge, and the Kepher.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
I was catching little bits of that as you were scrolling through a bit ago, and I caught, and as I recall, I vaguely, I've never really looked too much into their ideology, but as I recall, I believe it's kind of like they are legitimately as gay and dorky as it sounds. It's like they're like, we're here to serve Satan, and or Set, or whatever the fuck they go. But essentially, the idea is that like they're trying to be evil. Like they're literally like, we're so evil, ha ha ha. Like it's literally that, and it's like, as gay as that sounds, that is kind of a commonality with a lot of these Satanist groups, where then the one will break off from the other and be like, you're not evil enough.
Right.
Like, it's kind of gay when you put it that way.
Yes, and especially some of the things they do. Yeah, it says the worship
very
of
gay.
The worship of Set is thus the worship of individualism. In the Church of Satan, this was taken to mean indulgence in all, in quotes, legal desires of the body and ego.
Sure. Oh, we're going to limit ourselves to what the law tells us, even though we have a divine fucking, doctrine here. Just slip that one in there.
It basically, it's a rebranding of Thelema, maybe. Something similar, obviously. Like, they're all very similar.
They're all, like, seem to be, variations of Thelema.
Oh,
yeah.
Aquino?
Well, just Satanism in general, but yeah, we're kind of looking at these, kind of talking about Aquino and you know, his because it kind of goes into the ideology in this little bit that he's scrolling through. So I was asking Jules about it. Yeah.
The black flame, which distinguishes them from other animal species, the Setians. They believe that Set is the real one God, and that he has aided humanity by giving them a questioning intellect they call the black flame. Set is held in high esteem as a teacher whose example is to be emulated, but he is not worshipped as a deity. Highly individualistic in basis, the temple promotes the idea that practitioners should seek self-deification and thus attain an immortality of consciousness. Setians believe in the existence of magic as a force which can be manipulated through ritual. However, the nature of these rituals is not prescribed by the temple. Specifically, Aquino describes Setian practices as black magic, a term which he defines idiosyncratically. Now, Paul Bonacci, regarded by many as an MKUltra Project Monarch mind control victim, who was involved in the Franklin scandal, obviously, and the abduction of Johnny Gosch by his own account. In May of '98, investigative researcher Dave McGowan, he explains that one of the names raised at the Paul Bonacci trial was that of Michael Aquino. Aquino was accused in court by the mother of a victim as being a key player in a nationwide pedophile ring. Bonacci himself has also positively identified Aquino as an associate of Lawrence King, known to the children only as the Colonel. King's personal blackmail photographer, Rusty Nelson, he identified Aquino as the man to whom he saw King hand over a suitcase of cash and bonds. The blackmail photographer also said that King told him that Aquino was part of the Contra guns and cocaine trafficking operation run by George Bush and another notorious Lieutenant Colonel, Oliver North. Aquino also has been linked to Offutt Air Force Base, a strategic air command post near Omaha that was implicated in the investigation by the Franklin Committee. And he was also claimed to have ordered the abduction of the Des Moines, Iowa paperboy named Johnny Gosch. Now, Nick Bryant pushes back on that, so I'm not entirely certain that that is the case, but man, it convinced me throughout my research, honestly, that was potentially a part of this. So, yeah, Michael Aquino is a piece of shit.
By the way, JC gave me a super chat or a Rumble rant. Said Jules is already losing weight. Here's some McDonald's money. I've seen some comments between you and Jules. Somebody said Jules is losing weight. I said you're getting fat. I'm surprised. Dude? I haven't heard anything. I've lost like 20 pounds like the last month and a half.
You look beautiful, Jose.
Yeah, I did lose a bunch of weight. I just stopped. All I did was go to a dairy and meat diet, basically. Right. And I lost like 20 pounds in like a month.
Good shit, brother. Yeah. Hey, by the way, May Brussels legit. I'm trying to do my best to kind of like affiliate myself with.
I like this guy. This guy's spitting. He doesn't seem to like you. I don't think he likes you, Austin.
He doesn't like me? Oh man.
No, he was giving you shit in the chat about about cutting off Jules.
Oh damn! My bad, Joe. Hey, what's your deal, bro?
He wanted to hear about some spooky. He wanted to hear some. I want to hear some Jules analysis on this. Keep going. I don't even know, man.
I didn't even know what was being said here.
By the way, Eddie, I'm at I'm just under 200 now, and this is a dude. I'm at 5'5", so this is 200. Me under 200 is when I start to sit. My six pack comes out, and that's at 5'5". So, fucking alpha predator.
Oh my god! All right, man. My god.
Yeah, but you're
taking over the show, bro.
Jules, we shouldn't. What are we doing? Letting him? Now we're letting him on the screen, and now people want to actually hear him speak. What the fuck is going on?
Y'all can start hiding me whenever you want to. It's fine. No, what we were basically saying, it's just a rebranding of some other teachings of another mystery school. They probably, like you said, take stuff a little farther. I'm gonna have to read into this, man, because this is I've been reading this like almost the entire time it's been up. I like how they describe the psyche. They paint it red and add horns, cloven hooves, and a forked tail to dramatize how dangerous it is. yet they can never escape it or defeat it because they have never really succeeded in opposing themselves to it. A lot of very esoteric stuff in here. A lot of symbolism, but there's something else. What's it? Y'all keep talking.
We're listening to you, dog.
What are you guys looking at anyway? Like, what is
this? These are the documents. We were scrolling through them. This is obviously one that's just talking about ideology and stuff. But yeah.
Look, will you guys DM
Nietzsche.
Yeah, I was going to say. Also, it brings up the black magician, and I've actually been reading a book on natural occultism, where it talks about the black magician and the white magician. It's very interesting stuff. But you can look at Aquino. The motherfucker looks like a vampire. You know, obviously. I don't think. I don't think any sort of magic is, good. If you're doing something in the flesh, you can always pray or meditate or whatever connection you have with God. But I don't know, man. I think we participate in magic every day, just without us even knowing it.
Absolutely.
So, yeah.
I agree with you, brother.
Eddie says Doc brings up the back problem. They exist. Sorry, that's a joke. I like black people. That is a funny joke, though.
Oh my god.
Yeah. All right. I promise. I like black people. Huh? What'd you say, bud?
I'm probably gonna have to do a deep dive on this. I'll let y'all know what I find.
Yeah, oh, for sure. Oh, dude, if you're gonna do that, fuck yeah, dude. If you'll dig through that and find anything, like hell, even if you just look through the documents on the ideology, I'd bring you on the show, Jules. Tell you what, I'll bring you on my show. We'll do an episode. If you devour, we'll just do an episode on the ideology of the Temple of Set, or just about what you've gotten from digging into it. So, okay, yeah. So, yeah. Fuck. What else we got? I totally was gonna transition to something, and then my brain just shut down. Yeah. I'm gonna ask. I think we got somebody in the back to get him to join. So I'm gonna let him know. Get his shit set up.
About this Delta project. I was unaware of, but it's obviously it's this underground child pornography publication that was advertised. Apparently advertised the Delta project. It was called Hermes, this publication, and which is very strange. They always seem to fuck around with mythology, right? Like, very interesting, but catered to a brutal variety of sadomasochist pedophiles. And Hermes was published and circulated by associates of the same individual.
What's up, your mom?
Oh shit, it's your mom.
What up, dude? What's up, dude? What the fuck?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. You're gonna chill with us for the last 10 minutes or so of the show?
Yeah, I figure I've been on long enough. You guys would probably know who I am anyway. Fuck.
Oh yeah, dude. Brother. Man, you could have voiced like a sexy ass bear. I'll tell you that, dude.
Okay, so handsome.
Oh, thank you.
Hey, so I got stuff for you guys to look into. So
hell yeah, dude.
First of all, check out Tracy Twyman's. She had a podcast with two dudes, and I can't remember their names. Even though
Tracy Twyman.
Yeah, Tracy Twyman. If you don't know who she is,
okay,
she was
an author. Yeah.
She's an amazing author, and she got targeted by a pedophile trafficking group when she exposed a YouTube child auction thing with the FBI.
Holy shit.
Bro, she went to the FBI, and like 6 weeks later, she was dead.
Yeah, dead in 2019. I'm looking right now.
Crazy shit, dude. She's amazing. She's actually one of the people that got me into reading about all this shit. So I really love her. She's an amazing, amazing author. Like, I can't say enough good things about her. But one of her co-hosts, I forget his name, but super rad dude. And he let me into like an old school conspiracy about this guy called Peter Kawaja. Look this shit up. This motherfucker, he was like a security guard at like a fucking fruit packing factory back in like the early 90s. And this other company like hired him or subcontracted him to watch the whole thing, and he was like, yeah, easy money, dude, I'll do it, I already do it, what's up? And he found out that these motherfuckers, this fruit packaging company, were extracting cyanide from fucking fruit pits and selling it, dude. Like
That
some
is
cyanide
hilarious.
shit. Like, you guys are all about the Gladio shit. I'm telling you.
I'm not at all surprised. Every time I
Bro.
see cyanide, brother, it's
In
it's a
fruit companies,
recycled
dude?
package.
Fruit
Like,
companies?
Oh yeah,
That's-
no, right.
that's like-
Cyanide fruit, right?
Dude,
100%.
Peter Kawaja, bro. Look it up. Peter Kawaja. There's a lot of it's
Spell
been
that
scrubbed,
last
but-
name, brother. Spell that last name.
Fruit companies have destroyed entire nations, which is what's such a wild thing once you start digging into fruit nations. You're like, what the
How
fuck?
many coups? United Fruit Company and fucking. Oh god, dude, it's crazy.
What was that
Yeah.
last name again? Peter
It's
what?
Kawaja. I don't know how to spell it, bro. I'll send it to your Twitter. I'll find
Yeah.
a video reference. I'm really bad about that. I should already
No
have
worries,
it like, queued
brother.
up.
Yeah.
But, I love you guys, man. Thank you so much for what you do, dude. Like,
Oh, appreciate it. Love you, brother.
dude, love you guys. Some of your first episodes, you're just talking about community and like how isolated and alienating it is to like
Mhm.
recognize how fucked up everything really is. And like, bro, I've been at this a long time. Like, there wasn't always YouTube, you know, and like
Mhm.
you didn't really have the avenues. So like, all the young people coming up, you have community, bro. Reach out to each other, like exchange ideas, support these guys, like, subscribe, fucking share. Sharing's the most important thing you can do. Like, these guys are all about the fucking receipts, and they're not bullshitters, and they're not fucking feds, which is the best part.
All right, guys, I had a call come in and I got to set that up. You guys keep going, all right?
Cool,
Hey,
brother.
man. Your
Yeah,
mom,
I love you
I
guys.
love
I
you.
can't say enough good things, man. Thank you so much for what you do.
Thank you so much, brother. Honestly, it means the world to me that you just said that. But hey, man, I feel like in this very environment that we're existing in at this very moment, I think what is most appealing is authenticity, right?
Yes,
Just the genuine, honest approach, attempting to objectively pursue this information. and
One
present
second,
it in
sorry,
an honest way.
not to be a dick. Hey, whoever just called, call back. I fucking fumbled the ball and accidentally hung up, so please call back. But keep going, Austin.
How dare you? God damn, Jose, what the fuck,
dude? Every time.
Anyway, your mom, thank you, brother. Honestly,
I love you guys.
appreciate
Yeah,
it.
set up the next call, dude. I don't want to take up too much of your time, but I'll
take it up.
I'll email you guys the Kawaja video or whatever. Like, most of it's been scrubbed, dude. I'm telling you, but there's enough on there where you can find some shit, dude. There's articles and everything.
Awesome, man. Thank you so much
Yeah,
for the
dude.
tip, dude.
Yeah,
I'm
fuck
gonna
the
look
feds,
into
bro.
it ASAP. Fuck the feds, bro.
Right
All
on.
right, man.
All
Have
right,
a good
bro.
night, brother.
Love
I
you guys.
appreciate you. Love you too,
man.
Later.
Man, so I'm looking up.
All right, we got the call. Oh shit, my bad. We got the call. We got the call set. Ah, damn it! Why do
Are
I
you
keep doing that?
motherfucker? What are you doing?
Well, I'm trying not to. Fucking A, dude. Why is it doing that? One second. Give me a second, caller. I gotta set up the setup so it doesn't fucking dox you like a fucking retard. 1 second. Okay. Oh, cool. Fuck yeah, dude. Then we don't have to worry about that. Cool. We're good. All right. Give me a second. Let me set it back up. I was trying to set it up in the back. All right. There we go. All right. We got you on the chat. You're on Already Dead with Jose Galison and Austin Picard. What it do, dude? What's up? What are you doing?
What's up, bud? I've been
Yeah.
watching your podcast for like quite a bit of time, and I've spent a lot of time on the internet. I've got 10 years of like at the pinnacle of cybersecurity stuff.
Oh shit.
And I've seen a lot of stuff, man, like working in the industry. I got into it from like a forum called Digital Gangster back in the day. Like, I'm talking like 08, 09. I was like 12, 13. And I got brought in by a bunch of dudes that I met on IRC. And shortly after that, I started hacking celebrities. And I got really good at it. I caught Taylor Swift in 2014.
Are you the fappening guy?
Yeah, right. I hacked Taylor Swift in 2014. I hacked Network Solutions. I've hacked so many fucking celebrities. I wanted to kind of just tell you about like the stuff I saw doing that for the period of time that I did it, which was about 6 years on and off. Worst one that I ever got into was Austin Jones. I hacked Austin Jones in 2013. And at that time, like, he had a Facebook page and a personal account. When I tell you that out of like a majority of celebrities that I've hacked, obviously it's like predominantly men out of like A-list and B-list celebrities. When you get into that like C tier YouTuber, streamer, like, you know, their content is getting accessible to so many different people. Austin Jones, out of everybody I've ever popped, was the grossest, most disgusting fucking pedophile person I've ever seen. He literally had like thousands of messages. And at the time, like, I went to IC3, I went in, like, and mind you, it's like I got in illegally. Like, we're like contacting their ISPs, we're contacting their mobile providers, we're like porting their phone number out and then accessing SMS to reset all of their accounts.
I don't know what that means, but it sounds dope.
That was predominant. I'm talking like we were doing this in like 2012, 2013, before it was like a major thing. That guy, IC3, canned every report I sent out to them with screenshots, detailed. Like, mind you, I had to do all of this in a VM. Like, I didn't even know that guy was up to that kind of shit. He was just like a C tier, D tier, like music YouTuber.
Musician,
I've
right,
popped like the top celebrities. I've popped Kardashians. I've popped Jenners. I've been in their shit. I've seen their messages. I've seen their DMs. I've gotten their texts. I've dumped and exported all of their like contacts. Like 9 times out of the 10, when you're dealing with like celebrities that are doing like pedo cult shit, like weird grooming stuff, they're 9 times out of 10 like lone actors, man. But I'm sure you guys have a lot of questions. I can like validate anything that I'm saying here. I'm still active to this day. So I do want to be a little discretionary about my identity.
Oh, for sure. Oh man, Austin has a question, but keep in mind with these calls, I'll have to pass it on to him. So, Austin, let me know what you want to tell him, and I'll tell him, okay? Because he can't hear you. Yeah.
I was just noticing that this Austin Jones, you know, he was convicted and sentenced to 10 years in prison, right? For he's a convicted child sex offender, and so it's yeah, this guy's doing the Lord's work, in my opinion. As far as I'm concerned, it seems as if you're attempting to honestly expose these individuals who are clearly sadistically abusing young children and minors, then yeah, more power to you, my brother. Honestly, I appreciate the hell out of you. So I don't really have a question. I'm just kind of encouraging you to continue. Keep going.
Has he ever hacked into anybody, and has he ever dropped any sex tapes? Like,
have you ever dropped any sex tapes? Is what Jules wants to know.
What's the website?
Yeah, what's the website?
I mean, I've done some crazy shit, man. The snowflake hack. If you Google that, like Connor Alexander Muka, who was arrested in Canada as waifu Jadish, like I've known him like half my life. Like we had call logs for every AT&T, T-Mobile, Verizon subscriber in the entire country, to the point where like we were using Maltego instances and we were mapping the entire confidential witness and confidential informant network from the FBI. So we had every FBI like confidential informant's phone number because they would tap in with their like the stuff that we've been up to. It's nuts.
Oh shit.
What the fuck just happened?
Dude, that just happened.
Dude, it just dropped mid fucking shit. What the fuck? Man, I was about to ask him about fucking Oh man, I was about to ask him about Tom Hanks. What the fuck? That was wild.
You're getting too close, all right?
Dude, what? That was weird. I mean, I'm sure it's just completely natural, but man.
Jose, don't say that, man.
All right, what the fuck, dude? All right, man.
Play devil's advocate all the
time.
All right,
we're at an hour 45. This just happened. I don't think there's any call back in next week. We'll see if the feds stop you again. I'm super interested. I want to hear more. Hell, I'd actually appreciate it. Hey, if you find a way to get a contact with us, I will give you for free a StreamYard link. That way, I know we're normally gonna pay for it, but I want some more information, and I want to have a free-flowing conversation between the three of us for that. So, yeah, next week, if there's any way you can get a hold of us on social media or whatever, hit us up. But with that, I think we're gonna get out of here, man. That was the kind of the great way to end it. Austin, Jules, let them know where they can find you, bud.
Guys, I'm on Twitter, X, whatever. Graypilled Pod, Instagram, Graypilled_podcast. I'm on Rumble, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcast, and Spreaker. Finally. Also, patreon.com/Graypill Podcast. Got a lot of cool stuff over there. Sunday Chaos this Sunday, 9 Central, me and Conspiracy Extremists.
Elohim etymology, I think Saturday, and something Friday night. So just be on the lookout.
Austin.
Yeah, brother. Oh shit, man! It's been a crazy few days, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, man. It's been a little intense to process, but yeah. Anyway, I'm glad we have this show, brother. It feels like we can kind of let our hair down and just kind of enjoy. Yeah, dude. Oh, God. But no, honestly, to just enjoy. Like, first of all, what an amazing call-in. Like that was pretty badass, right?
That was
Both
great.
of them,
Yeah.
honestly, your mom's the shit, and I love your mom. And then to have
I love
that
your mom
call-in
too.
but yeah, no, you guys already know. Nothing but love. We have plenty of avenues that we need to kind of probe down to further expose ourselves to more of this information. But hey, man, at least something was released, right?
It's something. I know. We'll see. Well, in the days to come, we'll be dissecting this. So with that, keep an eye on the morning dump. I'm sure it'll come up for sure. But with that, guys, if you want to support what we're doing over here, like, share, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. Follow us on Twitter. Those help too. I mean, especially for the morning dumps. If you tag us in things on Twitter that you want us to cover, we'll gladly cover them. I mean, sometimes those might even bleed over into the already dead, since whatever. Why not use those too? Yeah, and also so leave 5-star reviews as well. That helps us, both of us, out a lot. If you could do that for all of us, really, that's a big deal. Most people, not enough people really do that. Goes a long way. But if you want to really support, me specifically, I guess, you could also, and get something physical, you could go to doshaveco.com, get the single blade safety razors. It's, in my opinion, much better than that multi-blade nonsense. It's better for your skin. It gives you a smoother shave. It's from a company that doesn't hate your guts, and you can get 10% off. Use Jose at checkout. Go to doshaveco.com. That's one way you can support the show and get a product out of it. And because they support the show. And then also the Patreon. That's the best way to support me. Cash is king, baby. I mean, but if you can't afford it, I get it. So 1 second, but patreon.com, there's no way Jose 2020. Lowest level's $2. Wait, what's insane? Are you saying something? I'm missing
Bro,
it. What?
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to fuck up your.
Well, what's up? What's up?
I swear, I'm not trying to fuck up your plugs. I just.
No, you're good.
I saw this hilarious statement. Shy Yuon did try to lead us to think it's mostly third-rate YouTubers and just individuals. I will say, it's important to point out that was a strange aspect of that.
Yeah. I'll give you that. Yeah.
Yeah.
It is a little weird. I was like, what? I mean, I don't know. No, it's all connected, man.
Right,
no,
exactly.
I will grant him. I actually think that's probably correct. If you were digging around in celebrity stuff, I wouldn't be surprised if well over half the time it was just some sort of isolated thing. Like, how often are they really going to be clicked up? I don't fucking know. But with that, let me finish my plugs. If you want to support me monetarily, give me money. Patreon.com/NoWayJose 2020. The lowest amount, $2. That gives you early access to the episodes, the paywalled episodes, which I paywall probably 1 to 2 a week. It also gives you an ad-free RSS feed of all my content, and then also on top of all of that, what's the other thing? Oh, you can be already dead. You can call in. You can call in. Oh fuck, we have a last-second call-in. Speaking of, I'll bring you on in a second. And I see you, Bobo. I'll bring you on in a second, but I might as well finish my plug. We'll have you go, Mom. We'll get out of here. But also my sponsors, I give them a shout out every episode. My co-host on Tower Gang at Tower Gang Toad, also at AbricADs, at ZOVERACK, at _Invisiel, Tim Tuttle, at John Klebold, Will Bell, Delicious Blueberry Rabbit Eye Wine, big fan of the show, Torn May, then at INWARD Lover. Let's bring in our final caller, since we had one show up literally during plugs, and we will honor it. So, what's up, Bobo? What it do?
Oh, shit. My bad, man. I was just trying to hop in the back like Paul was talking about.
Oh, is that the... Okay, you're one of those guys now. Okay, cool. You confused me. All right, well, I'll keep that in mind. Any questions while you're here?
Shit, man. I ain't got nothing good anyway.
Okay, all right. Well, we're growing. I like this. I'm going to... I think more of you should just chill in the back.
I got something. Wait, I got one thing, I guess.
Go for it, yeah.
Y'all brought up paganism and the satanic stuff and how that goes with the nerds doing all kinds of crazy stuff. You remember when I sent you the thing about Dogda talking about the harp?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, isn't that weird though? Like, his harp literally controls the fucking weather, and then
absolutely.
You look up harp with an extra A, if I remember correctly, on Google, and it says no, that's just a conspiracy theory. I don't know. That's the only thing I had to throw out because y'all were talking about paganism today.
You gotta check out my DARPA episode if you haven't listened to it yet. Check it out because I get into HARP for a moment. I think it's really important to at least like understand what is being, facilitated through these DARPA programs. But HARP itself is very terrifying what they were honestly capable of achieving, right? And so once you understand, like, just look up the facility and look up what it looks like. It's the craziest thing that I've ever seen. It's called High Frequency Active Auroral Research Program, and it's in Alaska. Researches the ionosphere, has highest ionized part of Earth's atmosphere as far as what they're researching allegedly. But this is the instrument that is used in the ionospheric research as far as the high power radio frequency transmitter facility that's operating in this high frequency band. And basically it's astonishing what they're capable of as far as just weather manipulation and even mind control has been as far as like it's been attributed to their capabilities. And so I wouldn't at all be surprised. You understand these low Earth orbit satellites, right? Like that, even in the context of Starlink and things of that nature. Like, my God, there are technological abilities that have been so sophisticated over time that the conceptual outcome is impossible for the average person to even like imagine. As a possibility. This is science fiction bullshit. Like, I swear to God, they say the nerds will kill us. They're 100% accurate. The nerds are going to kill us all. It's a matter of time.
Yeah.
And so, yeah.
Get those guys some pussy, but not too much, because they go nuts with the too much as well, okay? Give them enough pussy so they're not weird, but not too much so they're super so weird too, okay? Like, you got to find something healthy balance. But with that, guys, we did it, guys. Plugs are done. Fucking show's done. This is fun. This is Bobo joined us. We had your mom. We had fucking that weird fucking, or not weird, but I mean, he was cool. The hacker. I need to get him on the payroll on the sly. He'll be our fucking Fed.
On the payroll, yeah.
You could just recall him back.
Yeah, I don't know. That's weird. I don't even know how to call back on Google Voice, to be honest. I was about to do that, but
we need to check out this motherfucker. Like, oh my God.
Yeah. Well, he used a Google Voice thing, so I don't even know how that will work. But with that, because that's all through his computer, I think. But with that, guys, we're going to get out of here. Love you all. Pop in tomorrow at 10 a.m. Eastern, and I'll be there. I'm not sure if Austin will or not, but I should be there, and hang out then. We're out of here. Deuces.